Hello, this is Mr. Precella, and we're continuing to work on the review sheet that I started for Test 2 in my face-to-face class. We're up to number 17, compute and simplify the difference quotient, f of x plus h minus f of x all over h, for the function f of x equals 3x squared plus 5x. So let's see, it's number 17, and I've already written it out. And I'm going to color code what I'm going to do here. I'm going to start off by finding the f of x plus h, and I'm going to find that, I'm going to use green for that. Then the take away f of x I'll do in pink, the divide by h in blue. To find the f of x plus h, we've already said whatever's inside the parentheses, you plug in for x. So that's what we're doing here. In place of that black x, we're going to put x plus h. So writing down 3, and in place of the x, I'm going to put x plus h squared plus 5. In place of the black x, I'll put a green x plus h. So x plus h times x plus h. Now, in order to simplify this, we're going to have to FOIL out this x plus h squared. So over here to the side, just some scratch paper, I'm going to go ahead and FOIL out x plus h times x plus h. We would have first x squared plus xh plus hx would be another xh plus h squared. First, outer, inner, last. Combining the outer and the outer and inner terms, 1xh plus 1xh would be 2xh. So I'm going to come over here, and in place of the x plus h squared, I'm going to put all of this. So I have 3x squared plus 2xh plus h squared, and I have to distribute that 3 in a minute, plus 5 times x plus h. Now distributing the 3, we'd have 3x squared plus 6xh plus 3h squared plus 5x plus 5h. That's the f of x plus h part. Now for the minus f of x, let's just think of this as take away f of x. So looking at this, that means take away the 3x squared, okay, I'll mark that out, and take away the 5x. Okay, so that was an easy step there. All that's left is the divide by h. So I'll put each one of these over, everything that's remaining over h. And each one of these h's here in the bottom should cancel out. And I cancel out. Okay, so these h's cancel, so we have 6x. This h cancels with one of these green h's, so I'll just mark out that x squared. And then both of those h's cancel. So let's see, can y'all tell what's remaining? It's a 6x plus 3h plus 5. So let's see, 6x plus 3h plus 5. 6x plus 3h plus 5. That is A. Now, for problem number 18. We're starting to work with function composition. Okay, looks like quite a bit of function composition from 18 through 24. Some of you might say the fog and golf stuff. Okay, and remember, I'm Timothy Precella. If someone ever asks who taught you fog and golf, okay, really it's G of F or G composed with F, but it looks like golf if golf were a word, or fog. So problem number 18. You see, I think I'm going to color code it. Number 18. F of x is x minus 4 over 6, and g of x is 4x plus 6. We're told to find g of f of 40. So we're looking at g of f of 40, or golf 40. Start with the number, and you're going to be plugging in. You start with the number, and you work towards the left. Starting with the number, we're going this way. First of all, plug 40 into F. So I'm plugging 40 into F, and whatever answer I get, you then plug it into G. So you're working in this direction. Start with the 40. 40 minus 4 is 36. Divided by 6 is 6. So I just plugged 40 into F and got a 6. Now plug that 6 into G. So over here, in place of that pink X, I'm putting the 6. 4 times 6 is 24, plus 6 is 30. So let's see, answer B. Now number 19, let me write it down. F of x is 7x minus 6, and g of x is 5x squared minus 7x minus 6. Now, we're told to find f of g of 3. I'm just writing the problem down. Find f of g of 3. So in words, you could do this, okay. In words, it's saying take the 3, plug it into the function beside it, g, then take that answer, plug it into f. So you're working in this direction. You're told find what looks like fog 3. So taking the 3 and plugging it into g. So I'm putting a 3 here and here. Let's see, when I put a 3 here, remember you do the exponent before you multiply. You follow that order of operations. So 3 squared is 9 times 5. Let's see, we'd have a 45 minus 7 times 3 is 21 minus 6. So let's see, what is 45 minus 21? That would be a 24 minus 6. Are we getting an 18 for that? Now, take the 18, plug it into F. So in words, I took the 3, plugged it into the function that was listed right beside it, G. I got an 18. I'm taking that answer, plugging it into the function right beside it. So we have 7 times 18 minus 6. Let's see, 7 times 18, is that 70 plus 56? So 126 minus 6 120. So, C. Now, for the next two little table problems, instead of having the little equations you're plugging into, you're looking at the tables. So there's not a lot of work to writing out on this one. You take the 3 and look at the F table. What's F of 3? F of 3 is 4. So this is the first column I'm looking at. F of 3 is 4. Now G of 4. So now G of 4, I look at this column. G of 4 is 7. So I'll write C. Now, what about the one beneath it? Find F of G of 4. Okay. Start looking at the G table first. G of 4 is 10. So what's F of 10? Well, F of 10 is 21. B. So, continuing on with this composition of functions. Number 22. How does 22, 23, 24 differ from the other ones that we've done? Well, here there's just an x. You're told find fog x or golf x, f of g of x and g of f of x. Okay, and over here there's a number in the parentheses, not just an x. Okay, so 22. Let me write it down. We're told f of x is 7x plus 14, and g of x is 4x minus 1. And we are told on 22, I'm just writing down number 22, find fog x. Well, what that means is plug g of x into f. So we're plugging all of this into f. So in place of this black x right here, I'm going to put the purple 4x minus 1. So we have a 7. In place of that black x, I'll put the purple 4x minus 1. And let's see how that simplifies. Distributing the 7, we'd have 28x minus 7 plus 14. The minus 7 plus 14, 28x plus 7. 28x plus 7, that is C. Now 23. I wonder if I have room to do 23 right here. F of x is the square root of x plus 8. G of x is a negative 4 over x. We're told to find g of f of x. Well, that means you're plugging f into g. So you're plugging f. So all of this gets plugged in right there. It's going to look like all I'm doing is writing the final answer down. In place of this purple x, I'm putting the black square root of x plus 8. negative 4 over the square root of x plus 8. That's a C. Now, flip over. Problem number 24. Hey, it looks sort of like number 23, doesn't it? Well, different numbers, but it says find f of g of x, not g of f of x. Finding fog x, not the golf x. So 24. F of x equals the square root of x plus 2. G of x is a negative 1 over x. Finding f of g of x. That means plug g into f. So I'm plugging this purple g into the function f. So in place of that black x, I'm going to put a purple negative, wow, this motion sensor in here is going crazy. In place of this x, put the black, the purple negative 1 over x, and then you still have the black plus 2. So let's see. I'm thinking that one's C also. Square root of negative 1 over x plus 2. So C. Now, we leave our function composition and we're going to do some synthetic division here on number 25. 25, with synthetic division, I'll make a thing that looks like a backward L, capital L. Okay. And let's see, how can I put this? Over here you write k equals, and you look at the divisor and change the sign on that number that's there after the x. So negative 6. Then just write the coefficients going straight across. Negative 5x cubed minus 33x squared minus 12x plus 36. This is going to take 2 lines of work. We're doing problem number 25. Okay? Let me check and make sure I didn't miscopy anything. Negative 5x cubed minus 33x squared minus 12x plus 36. Changing the sign on the number there in the divisor. So start off, that's an arrow saying carry down the negative 5. Negative 5 times negative 6 is a positive 30. Negative 33 plus 30 is negative 3. Negative 3 times negative 6 is positive 18. Negative 12 plus 18 is a 6. 6 times negative 6 is a negative 36. 36 minus 36 is 0. This last number is the remainder, so we don't have a remainder. And in order to get the variables and exponents lined up, you just subtract 1 from the largest exponent. Started with an x to the third, so just subtracting 1. X squared, x. This number right here is always the constant. So negative 5x squared minus 3x plus 6. Negative 5x squared minus 3x plus 6. It looks like it is answer C. Again, there's a lot of C's on this page. Okay. Number 26. It's another synthetic division problem. This time k would be a positive 5. And now I'm going to just write it decreasing exponents. Let's see, what did we have? Not the exponents, write out the coefficients. There's a 1x to the 4th, a minus 3x to the 3rd, a minus 7x squared, a minus 14x, and a minus 5. Let's see, x to the 4th, x cubed, x squared, x constant. So you start off by carrying this number down. 1 times 5 is 5. Negative 3 plus 5 is 2. 2 times 5 is 10. Negative 7 plus 10 is 3. 3 times 5 is 15. Negative 14 plus 15 is 1. 1 times 5 is, nothing wrong with your computer. I'm just, the motion detector is just cutting off the lights for some reason. 1 times 5 is 5. Negative 5 plus 5 is 0. So once again, we have a remainder of 0. We had started off with the x to the 4th. So this would be x to the 3rd. X squared, x, and our constant. So we have x to the 3rd plus 2x squared plus 3x plus 1. X to the 3rd plus 2x squared plus 3x plus 1. Another c. Okay. Now, on problem number 27, it says factor into linear factors, given that k is a 0 of f of x. What are the two factors? So number 27. The way we're going to factor these, given that k is a 0, is do synthetic division once. Oh, why am I showing that? You're going to do synthetic division with k and then factor the quotient. Okay? Our answer here, once you're completely through factoring, you're going to have 3 sets of parentheses. Now, here it's only asking for 2 of them, but you've got to find all 3 of them in order to answer the question. Okay? So, 27. You start off, they've already told you that k is 5. So notice you don't change the sign. It's when you're not told k and you have to look at the divisor that you change the sign. But here we're told k is 5. Now 1, negative 2, negative 25, 50. Carry down the 1. 1 times 5 is 5. Negative 2 plus 5 is 3. 3 times 5 is 15. Negative 25 plus 15 is negative 10. Negative 10 times 5 is negative 50. 50 minus 50 is 0. Now, we were told that k is a 0, which means we should be getting a 0 there, so I feel pretty confident about that. Now, this quotient here, it started off with the x cubed, so it's x squared, x constant. The first factor that I'll always write is x minus k. X minus k is always a factor. So my first set of parentheses, I'll write x minus 5. Now, I'll write the quotient, x squared plus 3x minus 10. And that's the stuff I'm going to factor now. Let's see. How would I factor this? Well, x and x. For 10, 1 times 10 or 2 times 5. How about 2 and 5? To get a plus 3, that would mean a plus there and a minus there. So, on my math lab, you would just type in all 3 sets of parentheses. Well, here, they're only giving 2 sets of parentheses. That way you can't just start foiling it out. I'm always amazed when I see students foiling these out. That's not going to help you any. So looking through the answer choices, it asks which of the following are 2 of the factors. Like answer A, no, it doesn't have an x plus 1. There's an x minus 5, but not a B. There's an x plus 5. Nah, there's no x plus 2. It's an x minus 2. C. X minus 5. No, still no x plus 2. It better be this one. Is there an x minus 2 and an x plus 5 in this answer? Well, yes. So, D. 28. Same type of problem. We're told that k is 1. Writing out the coefficients. 2, negative 3, negative 5, and 6. Carry down the 2. 2 times 1. Ooh, let me lift all of this up. 2 times 1 is 2. Negative 3 plus 2, negative 1. Negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. Negative 5 minus 1, negative 6. Negative 6 times 1, negative 6. 6 minus 6 is 0. So our first factor is always x minus k. So we'll write x minus 1. Now this had started off with x to the third, so x squared, x constant. So I need to factor 2x squared minus x minus 6. Well, for 2x squared, there's not a lot of possibilities. 2x and x. Okay. Now for 6, there's 1 times 6 or 2 times 3. I'm going to try the 2 and 3. The 2 can't possibly go here because then there'd be common factors. So 2, 3. I'd have a 4x and a 3x. I can subtract those. I need it like this. Putting a minus there, I'd have negative 4x plus 3x. That's negative 1x. So we now look through our answer choices and see which have these 2. Sometimes students say, well, it's always asking for the last 2. No, it isn't. Okay, the order in which these are written doesn't matter. So let's see. It's definitely not A because there's not an x plus 1. It's not B either. Neither of those are in here. X minus 1. There is an x minus 1, but we have a 2x plus 3, not minus 3. What about D? X minus 1 and x minus 2. So that answer there is also D. We have time to get this all done. The natural question is, well, how do we find these k values? Well, possible rational zeros are in the form plus minus factor of constant term, which is the last number, over factor of leading coefficient. Leading means first, and the coefficients are the numbers in front of the number, in front of the variables. So here's the leading coefficient. There's the constant. So number 29, write out the factors of, do the constant first, 18. Let's see, what numbers multiply together to give 18? There's 1 times 18, 2 times 9, and there's some more, 3 and 6. Are those all the numbers that multiply together to give 18? Yeah. Now, look at the factors of 2. I'm not worrying with that negative yet. This plus minus in front will take care of all of that. Well, the only numbers that multiply together to give 2, 1 and 2. When I say numbers, I mean positive integers, of course. And now, you're going to actually start making the fractions. Take each one of these numbers and put it over each one of these. So, plus minus. 1 over 1 is 1. Then plus minus 1 over 2. Move on. Plus minus 2 over 1 is 2. 2 over 2, we've already listed that. That's 1. 3 over 1. 3 over 2. I'm taking every factor, that's a factor of the constant, over factors of the leading coefficient. Let's see, we have 6 over 1. 6 over 2 we've already listed as 3. 9 over 1 is 9. 9 over 2. And finally, 18 over 1. 18 over 2 is 9. We've already listed it. Now let's look really closely. The order might not be what I have listed here. The order isn't important. Okay. Let's see. It's B, isn't it? And I think they do have it in the same order as I do. Doesn't have to be like that. The order that you list the numbers doesn't matter. Now, so those are the possible zeros. If you needed to actually find one of those zeros, just start going through using synthetic division until you find one that gives you a 0 as that last number, and then factor the remaining. Do what we did on the 27 and 28. Problem number 30, factors of 2, just 1 and 2. The leading coefficient is 18. I noticed these are the same numbers that were in the other one, except here we have 2 as the leading coefficient, 2 is the constant, whereas over here it was the leading coefficient. So you go plus minus, put each one of these, and I have a lot of fractions. 1 over 1, 1 over 2, 1 over 3, 1 over 6, 1 over 9, 1 over 18. And then plus minus 2 over 1. Now 2 over 2, we've already listed that, so 1. 2 over 3. 2 over 6 is a third. 2 over 9. And 2 over 18, have we listed that? Yeah, 2 over 18 is 1/9. Look closely at these. Let's see. Is this one a B also? 1. Oh, it's not listed in the same order I have it in, or yeah, I'm thinking it's B, isn't it? So the order doesn't have to be the same. 1, 2, 1/2, 1/3, 1/6, 1/9, 1 over 18, 2/3, 2/9. Yeah. So that is the review sheet. So I'm finished with it, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you in class soon, I hope.